و حال دعوت به عمل می آورم از بانو آرزو حلیمی که در جایگاه تشریف آورده و مقاله ای را که به انگلیسی ترتیب داده است را برای ما به خوانش بگیرد. بانو آرزو حلیمی.
In the name of God, I would like to start my speech with a Farsi poem about Baba Mazari by Muhammad Azizi. تو آمدی و به ما آفتاب آوردی، برای قافله پیغام آب آوردی. تو آمدی و به ما احترام بخشیدی، به زخمهای کهن التیام بخشیدی. تو آمدی و گل صبح را صدا کردی، به شام طایفه خورشید را رها کردی. تو آمدی و سرود سپیده جاری شد و رودها همه زمزم مزاری شد. تو آمدی و سرود سپیده جاری شد و رودها همه زمزم مزاری شد. Let me explain the story of how I came to know Baba Mazari. I was born and raised here in Toronto, Canada, and in a way I feel as if I've been torn from the roots of my homeland. I've identified in myself that the connection I have to Afghanistan is very faint, and communication is the first step into changing that. Growing up in a Western society obviously has its benefits, but it also lacks in some areas too. I remember walking past a picture of a man on the wall throughout my childhood years. I would repeatedly ask my dad who he was. Who was the man on the wall? But he stayed silent, not knowing how to explain who he was to me, as I was still relatively young. When I was 8 years old and in the 3rd grade, I brought home a book about a leader in the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King Jr. My dad then explained to me that both men, both Martin Luther King Jr. and the man on the wall, believed in equal rights, believed that their people shouldn't be treated equally, differently. They both believed that violence was not the answer. They both believed in peace. I now know that the man on the wall was Baba Mazari, but my mind back then couldn't grasp the fact that there was someone so brave who fought for my people. Today marks the 27th anniversary of Baba Mazari's death, a man who was a strong voice in Afghanistan against those who excluded Hazaras because of their ethnicity, race, language, or religion. He represented the voices of the unheard and supported equal representation of all ethnic groups, especially Hazara people who are still being persecuted in Afghanistan to this day. He believed that the solution to the internal divisions in Afghanistan was in a federal system of governance, with each ethnic group having specific constitutional rights and able to govern their own land and people. Ethnic hatred and religious prejudice won over him, but his message still lives through within all of us. In history classes throughout elementary and middle school, we would learn about Black history, Indigenous lives, the Holocaust, and I was raised to believe that these were the only historically significant moments I should worry about. But I was wrong. Young people are impressionable. They believe whatever they hear, and we shouldn't let the single narrative that only textbook history is important to control their lives. I'm grateful for my father in many things, but one of them is for helping me connect with my identity. Baba Mazari was someone ordinary. He was like me and you, but he had a dream. Just like Martin Luther had a dream, and just like every one of us has a dream. His dream was for peace, and he died trying to achieve that. Never let his words go unspoken and never let them be forgotten. He believed in equality for all the people of Afghanistan, for Hazaras, Pashtuns, Tajiks, Uzbeks, the list goes on. He believed that before we are Afghan, we are people, we are human, we are brothers and sisters. Change happens through acknowledgement, conversation, and reconciliation. So let's converse, let's acknowledge, let's advocate for change. Let us inform our younger generations of the hardships our people had to go through, so our past isn't forgotten and our future stays enlightened. Thank you.